They are athletes that can change a program, define a team, and alter the course of college football. From high school to Heisman and beyond, the future starts now. The Campus Insiders Signing Day Special. And we begin with this Insiders Alert. Here's an update here at the top of the hour of the top commitments and recruits around the country. First, Dory Jackson out in California has given his commitment and signed his letter of intent to attend and play at USC. Other five-star recruits who've committed today. And we talk about Solomon Thomas, who's headed to Stanford. Braden Smith of Kansas chose Auburn. Earlier today, Malachi Dupree will stay home and play for LSU, and one-time Florida recruit Erman Lane has signed with Florida State. So here now we'll look at the final rankings of the teams here on National Signing Day. First 5 through 10. There you see Miami and Florida in the top 10. Auburn at number 8. Texas A&M and Notre Dame round out the bottom half of the top 10. And a look at the very top, 1 through 5. Alabama, the number 1 team in the country this year, followed by the national champs. Then it's LSU who moves up from 7 to number 3. They were 7th earlier today. Picked up some big recruits. They're number 3 right now. Tennessee and Ohio State round out the top 5. All right, let's introduce you once again to the crew. They're back for one final show here this afternoon.
Still here.
That's right. It's still here. We haven't moved. Doug
drill.
Chapman, Pete Futek, and Brian Doan with us from Scout.com. Good to have him here with us. And Doug, who have been some of the biggest surprises to you today?
I want to say Rashawn Evans going to Alabama. Auburn's got him right there in their backyard. Both of his parents are graduates. Father played football there. It just shows you how strong Alabama is. That he might not even play right away. He would have went to Auburn and started. He's going to go to Alabama and maybe play, maybe get in on third down, but he'd rather take that chance to go play for what could probably be the number 1 team in the nation. Juju Smith, where's he going? We're waiting for the man to commit. Dory Jackson just went to USC. I'm pretty sure he's reached out to Juju, and Juju will say, here I come. Tennessee, 5-7 last year, able to finish in the top 5. And UVA, 2-10 last year. Mike London still able to get 2 players in that top 100, 5-star guys that come. Those are my biggest surprises so far.
Few? Your biggest surprise?
You know what? NC State's kind of had a sneaky, nice recruiting class. They've kind of been hovering around the top 25 in this class. They're going to finish right outside of it, but they're close to the pin. They're good enough here. Dave Doran's got a massive class coming in. He's got his kicker. He's got his punter. He's gone real heavy on wide receiver, gone real heavy on defensive line. Jalen McClendon's a very nice quarterback. He's got a big overall class coming in. That this is the type of thing that you build a program off of, and he's beating out teams like Clemson for players. He's done a nice job for the ACC this year.
All right, we're going to talk about impact freshman Brian with you in just a moment, but right now we're pleased to be joined by Oklahoma head coach Bob Stoops, who's with us now from Norman. And Coach, first let me ask you, what benefit did that 11-win season capped by a Sugar Bowl victory have in recruiting for you this year?
Well, it gave us a lot of momentum. There's no doubt about it. To finish off recruiting, winning the last 2 Big 12 games on the road at the end of the year, and then, of course, the Sugar Bowl to go with it is made a big impact in it. And we were already recruiting well, but I think it really helped us finish in this last week in a really positive way.
Coach, the phone's going off. You're multitasking. I know that's just the way it is for coaches on signing day. You were able to get tailback Joe Mixon and potentially your quarterback of the future in Justice Hanson. How do you feel about the players you were able to get in the offensive side of the ball?
I love them. Joe's a big-time playmaker running the football, a big physical back, but he's very elusive and smooth out of the backfield catching the ball. Justice Hanson's a big, strong quarterback that is athletic, can still run the zone read, pull the ball and run. But he's got great size. He's 6'3", about 220, really strong and put together. So those guys are big-time players.
Coach, today you got 3 4-star recruits that picked the Sooners, and you may get another before the day is over, but it could have been DeAndre Clark on the phone right there. I don't know. But you've never been a big fan of the rating system.
I would have answered it. It wasn't.
It wasn't him? Okay. You've never been a big fan of the rating system. Sam Bradford, as you well remember, a 3-star quarterback who had a great career there at Oklahoma. What type of young man fits best in your program?
Well, just ones that we get to know that are competitive, are tough, and play the way we're used to playing and fit our system and what we're trying to do on offense and defense. So there's a lot of guys that fit it, and I'll be honest, there's some with a bunch of stars that we're not always interested in, that we don't feel do fit our profile.
Well, Coach Bob Stoops, I know it's a very, very busy day for you, and we do appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us here on Campus Insiders, and best of luck the rest of the day with your recruiting.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's go back here in the studio now. We heard from head coach Bob Stoops, so let's talk about, Brian, some impact freshmen here, starting with the #1 rated recruit by Scout.com in Leonard Fournette, that talented running back out of Louisiana who's going to stay at home at Louisiana State.
Yeah, he is, and to me, all you need to know, can he block? Is he able to block? Because everything else he does. Runs well, great acceleration between the tackles, get to the outside, powerful, elusive. You're not going to bring him down with the arm tackle, and I mean, there's a reason he's #1.
All right, so where can Jabril Peppers fit in at Michigan here in his first year?
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Look, I think he's going to play cornerback or safety to start off. He can do either one. He'd be a 5-star kid at either position. We have him as a corner. He's also a very good running back, can run the Wildcat. He's a very good receiver. But what a lot of people don't know about Jabril, great kid, very bright kid.
And special teams, he might be able to fit in there as well.
There's no doubt.
How quickly do you think we'll see Kyle Allen quarterback the offense at Texas Tech?
As quickly as he can pick it up, and we'll see what else happens, with A&M and Kyle Allen. He can throw on the run. He moves around. Look, he's not Johnny Manziel. Don't expect him to be that. He's accurate, though, and he's very smart, which is what you need.
All right, so Deshaun Hand going to Alabama. This is a guy that can make an impact right away, too.
It is, and you expect him to play right away. He's a kid, even for his side, he can move outside, drop into coverage a little bit. He's best going to get the passer, getting up the field quickly. He has very good hands. He sheds blocks really well. I mean, look, he's going to Alabama, and he's a 5-star.
Erman Lane flipped from Florida to Florida State. What are the chances he can be a target for Jameis Winston in the fall?
Well, I would expect him to be, because he's a big body. He's explosive. He gets in and out of breaks really well. I saw him over the summer. The kid is thick. It looks like he's ready to play physically. After the catch, he just gets it, and man, he goes, and you get him in the open field, and I don't think anybody's going to catch him.
Well, look, we didn't have a 5-star guy in here, according to Scout.com, earlier in our studios today, but it was a pleasure to have Denzel Ward in the house today as he picked live on our air, an exclusive. He chose Syracuse over South Florida and Vanderbilt, citing his national letter of intent. His mother, Darlene, was here, and certainly we had a pleasure having him in the studio today. Pick the Orange over, as mentioned, South Florida and Vanderbilt. Wish him the very best of luck. Here are some signing day tweets that caught our attention today. Auburn had a page prepared for Rashaan Evans in the event he signed with the Tigers. Somehow, though, it was discovered or leaked. I don't know, folks. It's the internet. That stuff gets out there, and it was out there on Twitter. And check out this pic from South Carolina's David Cloninger. He writes, Dante Sawyer immediately endears himself to USC fans. Can you tell why? You can see Sawyer throwing up the 5 fingers next to Clemson recruit Corey Rogers. Here's some action for you from Kyle Austin reporting on Eastern Michigan's class. EMU Athletics informs me that Lion King Conaway has legally changed his name to simply Lion King.
Fantastic. Wow.
That's good
So it's
stuff.
simply the first name, or is it Lion?
Oh, man. I don't know what are you going to put on the jersey on that? All right. Still to come, how Miami's Al Golden was able to snatch a top 10 class from the jaws of defeat. We'll head to Hurricane Country to talk with the coach himself when our special signing day coverage continues.
So the man's first name is Lion King?
No, it's simply. Change his name to simply
It's
Lion King.
Conaway. The last
So it's
name.
Lion King Conaway.
That's
Or
what
it's
the name
Lion
No,
is.
it's not. It's
Lion King Conaway.
Introducing the Cadillac XTS with the newly available 410 horsepower twin turbo.
Let's go live to our insiders on both campuses for the latest developments.
With the Name Your Price tool, we build a policy around your budget. Now I'm gonna smash a guitar! Rock and roll! We're gonna need a dustpan and a broom!
Well, a good time to be on South Beach, and we're not just talking about the 80-degree weather, of course. At the U, there are no more worries about NCAA sanctions or Al Golden leaving for Penn State. And for purposes of this day, the Hurricanes reeled in the number 10 ranked class in America. Let's throw it to CI Shea Pepler, who's standing by with Coach Golden.
Thank you, Ray. I'm joined by Miami head football coach Al Golden now. And Coach, you weathered the storm early when your name surfaced around the Penn State opening. Now, according to Scout.com, you'll bring in a top 10 recruiting class to South Florida. How challenging has the last several months been for you?
Well, it hasn't been challenging at all when you think of what we had to come out of with the NCAA thing. So we're excited, about the direction that we're going. Also, keep in mind that 85 to 90% of the pool was already gone by the time the NCAA released their findings. So, we missed out on some of those guys. So we were able to finish strong, hold on to some guys down the stretch that obviously were highly sought after, and we're really excited about this group, most particularly the needs that we've met along the defensive front.
Well, Coach, you already received a commit from five-star running back Joseph Yearby. You have Duke Johnson coming back from injury. How do you see Yearby fitting into what could be a crowded backfield?
Well, I wouldn't say it's crowded yet. Last year we didn't have the type of depth that we needed really to play at a high level all year long. And I think this year is really going to help us. Joe certainly along with Gus, Dallas, and Duke, really going to help us have more depth and less drop off. Between players, and certainly more experience. But Joe Yearby figures to come in and have an opportunity to make a case for playing time right away.
Coach, you mentioned this earlier, but you filled some big needs along that defensive line. Looking at this 2014 class, would you say that was your biggest win of the offseason?
Well, it was the biggest win of our last 3 years recruiting that position. We really struggled there. We weren't able to get any junior college players to come the last 2 years because of the threat of sanctions and because of how short their window is. And they didn't want anything to do with coming to a school that may not be going to a bowl game. So we were able to sign 2 junior college nose guards in Calvin Hurtalu and Michael Weich, and we're excited about those 2. Cortell Jenkins is a young man from DePaul High School in New Jersey who's going to join us along the front. And then locally, we really are excited about A.J. Moten, a defensive tackle, and then, of course, Chad Thomas, who signed with us today, who we're really excited about defensive end. So by far the strongest, most mature, and most explosive group that we've signed.
All right, Coach Golden, thanks so much for the time. Good luck this season, and congrats on all your success today. Go get some sleep. I know you told me you haven't slept.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Ray, I'm sending it back to you.
All right, Shay, thanks very much. I wonder if he slept in that overnight. Who knows? So how did Al Golden and maybe the rest of the teams in the ACC fare? Well, you see the final breakdown of conferences. The ACC there at number 4, as well as the SEC, of course, leading the way, followed by the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the Big 10, perhaps a surprise there at number 5. So as we take a look and kind of let those final conference rankings kind of sink in, let's take a closer look at them here, starting with the SEC, Doug.
36 out of the top 100 kids are going to the SEC.
How do you ever lose a game, SEC?
I mean, you look at the top 10, 6 of those schools in the top 10 are SEC programs. Alabama, for the 3rd year in a row, has the number 1 recruiting class. You get the best players. You should win the national championship, right? Alabama didn't last year. Auburn didn't. An SEC team did not win the title, but the perception is still there. The kids are still going there. Yes, Florida State won the national championship, but SEC is king. Kids want to play in the SEC, and you see it 36 out of the top 100, 6 out of the top 10 classes come from SEC programs. They cleaned up again today.
The Big 12 had a pretty good haul today.
It's not bad. 7 of the teams finished in the top 40 in the final Scout.com rankings. And, when you take teams like West Virginia and TCU had a nice class, Baylor had a nice season, Texas Tech did okay. Kansas State's below the fold a little bit there, but that's Kansas State. We know what's happening with them. And, Oklahoma came in strong late. Texas, with just a short recruiting period for Charlie Strong, did all right. So it's a pretty good overall season for the Big 12.
All right, so the Pac-12, Brian, Adoree Jackson here just this afternoon, Solomon Thomas this morning. They picked up some good players, too.
They did, and it just shows you Stanford gets Solomon Thomas early in the morning, and all of a sudden they vault to the number 1 class. They have 21 commits, but they're still the number 1 class in the Pac-12. If you remember late last week, everybody was talking Arizona State, what was going on with them. They were top. They fell a little bit right now. Arizona State still number 2. Arizona's dropped way down, right about the 5 or 6 mark. That could change if USC gets another commit later today. And I look at, USC may only be down 6th in the Pac-12 right now. But if you look at the average star per recruit at 3.69, that is the tops in the Pac-12. And then the last thing is Colorado and Utah, you're in the Pac-12. It's time to recruit like you're in the Pac-12.
Point made, indeed. Doug, you like what Virginia did in the ACC. What else did you like about the Atlantic Coast Conference?
I like what UVA did. I was disappointed in what Clemson was able to do, considering what they lost. Bryant, Boyd, and Watkins. They weren't able to bring in a lot of top-flight kids. But, of course, FSU and Miami in the top 10 in their classes. Miami underachieved a bit last season. I think people prematurely thought the U was back. But you look at what Al Golden's able to get in this year. Defensive end Chad Thomas, tackle Casey McDermott, and running back Joseph Yerby. The talent is coming back to Coral Gables. Maybe they can get a stadium somewhere near Coral Gables to get the students back to the games. But the U will be back. I think it was a little early to crown them last year. But ACC, watch out for Miami. They're not ready for Florida State yet, but they're getting close.
Few, how about the Big Ten?
Well, we're actually not joking about the SEC when we say, how do they lose a game? Well, Ohio State, there's no excuse ever. I mean, with these recruiting classes and Urban Meyer, everything is set up perfectly for Ohio State to go on a dominant 10-year run. There's nobody else in the conference. Michigan recruited great last year. Michigan State's got a nice class this year. Penn State sort of rose up at the end. Wisconsin had a nice year. But there is a very, very hard line between Ohio State, the rest of the haves, and the have-nots. And Maryland and Rutgers, good luck with that. You said, recruit a Pac-12 level. Well, Maryland and Rutgers, welcome to the Big Ten, kids. Welcome to Jug Dish and the couch over here. You're going to be sitting over here with the other guys.
Oh, man. Yeah. Too bad this is the last show of the day. We need more of your lines. Brian, of the 11 conferences that Scout.com ranks, the Mountain West finished 8th.
Yeah, and it really isn't a big surprise. I mean, first of all, you lose the marquee program's Boise State. You lose Chris Peterson as the coach to Washington. Brian Harsin did a good job of coming in, getting some kids. They got the only top 100 kid of the Scout top 100 and Dylan Subner Gardner to flip. He's going to Boise State. Still, San Diego State right now has the top program. San Diego State, to me, you talk about Miami and facilities. San Diego State needs good facilities because there's a lot of talent in Southern California, and there's no look. The elite kids are going to go to UCLA, USC. There's no reason San Diego State should not be a good program. And then I look at Fresno State, and I'm disappointed. They're 7th in the conference, 86th overall. They're coming off a really good year. Yeah, they filled some gaps. They got 5 offensive linemen. They got a linebacker that they needed. But I really expected more out of Fresno State and being able to build off of it because they did have some national momentum.
Yeah, they certainly did at the end of the season that they had there at Fresno State. Brian, we're going to let you have the last word here. 4 years from now, what do you think will be remembered the most as we reminisce back to 2014?
Well, I look at it and I look at USC, and they get Damian Mama and Adoree Jackson, 2 5-stars today. They have a really good chance to get Juju Smith, a 5-star safety. Right there is Steve Sarkisian coming in, showing he can recruit. Now the next thing is, and we talked about it earlier today, can he win? He's got to go out and win. When you look 4 years from now, he's either going to get SC rolling again or we're going to be looking for a new coach there.
Okay, great stuff. Boy, another busy signing day has just about come to a close.
4 years from now, half these kids will be in the NFL in their second season.
They will. They'll be gone.
4 years.
These
they'll be getting paid by then, but they'll get more money here stay in college.
It was a lot of fun. Brian Dunn with Scout.com. Thanks so much for being with us. You two jokers over there, Doug Chapman and Pete Butek. We enjoyed the laughs and we had a lot of fun and great information as well. Thanks for you for watching as well. But before we let you go, I want to remind you that tonight on Campus Insiders, a huge night of basketball. 18 live games on the docket, maybe the biggest one of them all. St. Joseph's hoping to beat its second top 25 team in a row as number 13 St. Louis comes to town. It's a game you can only see on CampusInsiders.com. I want to thank our entire crew here at CI. Worked hard all day, got here early, and have been working the internet, working the computers, the phones, all these interviews. Go to our website, CampusInsiders.com. We've got interviews with Al Golden, Tommy Tuberville, Bob Stoops, and a lot of others that Shea Pepler did as well. From all of us here at CampusInsiders.com, I'm Ray Crawford. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for CI Live at 1 o'clock.